both receive your instruction in your dressing room. Okay, both trunks are high. Right here is good. Right here is good. I want a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourself at all times. Let's go.
And working behind straight shots. Feels like he's got the better jab, that he's quicker, and he moves better. Is it that easy?
It's not that easy, especially against Joe Smith. I mean, you know, very well. I'm less concerned about what Joe Smith does, and I want to see what Alvarez does. He can have a game plan on paper.
Right hand from Alvarez behind the jab.
See, the one thing that happened right there was Smith Jr. just sat right there at mid-range and didn't fire any punches. He didn't throw any jab or anything. And so what did Alvarez do? He lined him up for the jab and the right. Deadly, and the right hand of Alvarez is deadly. So when these guys throw their right hand, both these guys need to make sure that they keep their head off the line or get their head off to the line. And the way you do that is when you throw your right hand, you...
End of one. The inflammation subsided. Here we are a month later. Joe Smith coming out to meet him on the other side of the ring. Applying pressure, short right hand, trying to get around.
Joe, you want Eleider Alvarez to remain who he is. He's got a temperament like a cobra. He's a guy who lays in the grass, he lays in the weight, and then all of a sudden he'll explode with...
A lot of head hunting from Smith. Not a lot of body shots coming from him.
Good work right now from Joe.
A lot of that stuff is being blocked, Tess. You know, like, ooh, that's the right hand, right?
Shot. Keep an eye on that.
Like right there, as soon as that threshold was crossed. Smith Jr. letting them fly here in the final moments of round number 2. Round 3 to this point, Joe Smith Jr. has a 29-16 connect advantage. Career. You can constantly hear Capobianco ask him to double up that jab. Everything, the point of emphasis he's charging him with constantly from the corner is dealing with the jab.
Since he got that.
See Joe Smith just being Joe Smith, volume, pressing the issue, not really concerned about any punches coming back from Alvarez. He's going to live or die with that style, and we see Alvarez being who he is, very economical, looking for the one big shot, trying to snipe Smith.
As we come to the end of 3.
Up the pressure here a little bit more.
Well, I hope Alvarez knows that in order to back up Joe Smith, he's got to go through some fire. I mean, Joe Smith is not just going to allow him. That's Alvarez's temperament. He wants to lay back, he wants to watch, he wants to look and hope that he can catch Joe Smith slipping and land a big shot over the top, preferably a right hand.
Smith landed a right hand over the top of the jab.
Fighter to fighter, I mean, I was a guy who wanted to win every second of every round. I wasn't okay with guys landing 4 and 5 shots on me in a combination, but Alvarez, he's just okay with just sitting back and... Did you say buns in the oven, Timmy?
Put some buns down there, man. Blow it, blow your nose. Don't do that. Your eyes will swell up. Just got to let it drip out.
Short left hand at the end of 4. The round without the mouthpiece, have to have that. Dre, what was your reaction to that Povetkin knockout?
I mean, first and foremost, I just feel bad for Dillian Whyte. I mean, this is a guy who had been the #1 contender for a world title shot, his second opportunity at a title for a long time, and they continue to tell him, as promoter, the WBC, wait, it's coming next, just be patient. And they're in disbelief. I never wanted to be a part of that. I never wanted my family to have to go through that, and thank God it never happened. But Dillian Whyte's got some rebuilding to do, not physically. Alvarez being a little bit more intentional. You see the blood right there. That's what happens when you let a decent puncher, a strong puncher like Joe Smith hit you like that. Alvarez will have moments where he wakes up. He better wake up and get going, because he's 36, and if he loses this fight, he may not get another shot.
See these offensive waves from Smith Jr. There was a right hand between punches from Alvarez while Smith was on the attack. Good stuff here in round.
And just the work rate of Smith is causing
there's a left hand that
Alvarez
sweeps in.
Ooh.
And now a right hand gets around the corner. Look at the thudding blows from Joe Smith Jr. as he's on the attack here in round 5. Uppercut reigns in as he backs up Alvarez. Alvarez's nose just missed with that right hand. And you can hear Capobianco saying, don't load up, do not load up. Out 29 of 71, landed 29 connects in that 5th round.
Shots that landed in the back end of that last round.
302 punches thrown by Smith Jr. to just 191 for the more economical Alvarez.
You can get busy. You can get busy on a counter puncher. That's what Smith is doing. Punching power you have to deal with.
If you're Eleider Alvarez and this is potentially your last shot, he's got to be thinking about that. He's willing to fight everybody. He didn't have an opportunity to be tough. He got caught and the fight was over. Same thing can happen to Smith.
Well, you know what I say, Dre? If you're on your back and you can look up, that means you can get up.
Stop.
At this moment, the only way that I see Alvarez winning this fight is getting lucky with a shot.
Stop.
Had him hurt in the 5th.
Stop.
When Atlanta stands right now, a sweep for Joe Smith Jr.
Good guy to root for it. Great story. But you've always seen this kind of Eleider in fights. A guy, even the fights that he won, the first fight with Kovalev, he came from behind to win that. He wasn't dominating every round. I just didn't believe he was going to turn over a new leaf. He's proven me right tonight.
Yeah, in that first fight, he was cut in the 6th round. Kovalev was ahead on all the scorecards, and then the power surge.
Good luck with that. Smith Jr., to me, is not going anywhere.
Alvarez shoulder to shoulder with him now. Step back and taking deep breaths. There's a right hand from Alvarez.
Oh, there it is.
Right hand from Alvarez here with a minute to go in the 7th round. Little buckle of the legs of Joe Smith. Looking forward again, trying to time that right hand. That happens when you get
complacent. That happens when you get complacent, Tess. When you have success and then you get comfortable and then you leave yourself wide open for a right hand like that.
And then look at what Joe Smith does to respond.
Stop. But when Joe Smith is being Joe Smith, when he's letting his hands go, Alvarez wants no part of it.
Can see the power from Smith. Just mauling him here again at the end of the 7th. And now letting his hands go. Nice way to respond after the right hand from Alvarez. How Smith came down the stretch there of round 7.
Right hand come right over the top.
And Tony Weeks, the referee, is not asking for time here to start the game based on how much grease was applied onto the face of Eleider Alvarez.
Tess, if he continues to fight like this, he's going to get knocked out.
Another right hand from Smith Jr.
He's going to get knocked off anyway. But that is a lot of grease. Wow, look at his face.
I mean, look at that. This is how he walked out to start the round. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. That's bad.
Well, you see what direction Tony Weeks is looking. He didn't catch it. They slipped that one through.
I think the Martians on Mars seen that, all that grease.
Stop.
Let me out of grease, man. Anyhow.
Long Island's Joe Smith Jr. trying to close in on a world championship. This a title eliminator.
Alvarez is sitting on another right hand. He's waiting. He's waiting on Smith Jr. to throw a jab from a little bit too close.
Squared up and he threw the right hand.
You know what I like? What I like with Smith when he changes the speed up with his combinations. I like that. He has a lot of success when he changes the speed up instead of just 1, 2, 1, 2. When he puts them in combinations.
Stop.
Very good night to this point for Joe Smith. Stick with the plan. In addition to the total punches that we showed you and that advantage he had, when it comes to power punches, Smith Jr. has a 122-51 power punch connect advantage. There's a right lead, and then he sends him through the ropes to start round 9.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Alvarez has to make his way back through the ropes, and this fight is over.
That was a statement right there.
Career, but he's right in line to get that second shot. Just a beautiful shot. I mean, Joe Smith has been chopping at the tree all night long. That was probably the straightest, clearest shot that he threw to the chin of Alvarez right there. Didn't load up, he just let it go. And because Alvarez is sitting right in front of Joe Smith, it hasn't really posed much of an offensive, problem for Smith. Smith felt like he could throw that kind of shot. And then later he's been taking punishment all night. That shot may not have knocked Alvarez out in the first round or the first couple rounds. But when you beat on a tree, you hit it in that sweet spot, right at that moment, then the tree falls down. That tree is Eleider Alvarez.
You said it, Dre. Straight right, as straight as right hand he threw all night long. Yes, he did. He disguised that right hand with that jab. Disguised it.
A stop to this bout at 26 seconds of round number 9. Declaring your winner by technical knockout, Joe the Beast Smith Jr.
He